You have been programmed to live in fear your entire life. Growing up with Asian parents myself, you already know how it is. I heard it all. Money doesn't grow on trees. The world is a dangerous place. Why aren't you like so-and-so kids? They're getting good grades. They're attending Harvard University. They're working XYZ job, making X amount of money. Because of those growing up personally, I was trapped in this fear-based reality for most of my life. I kept manifesting the exact things that I was afraid of. And I couldn't quite figure out why. Because of insecurity, I started to do a lot of like Chinese feng shui reading, which is like a life reading, the Chinese astrology, even tarot cards, you name it. They kept telling me, all the readings kept telling me, oh, it's because you haven't reached to a certain age to unlock abundance in your life. But deep down, I was like, really? So you're telling me people in this earth who has the exact same birthday as me are gonna have the exact same destiny as me? I was like, fuck that. I'm not convinced. I mean, sure, I believe there are default programmings that exist, whether it's from our genetics or the way we grew up, but is there really no way to transcend above that and beyond that? Because of I'm not being convinced and being a little more like stubborn, I started to do research and read books on metaphysical things and watch a lot of videos. I even paid a hefty price for mindset coaching and esoteric manifestation coaching. The totality of everything I did helped me to understand this. Fear and faith are the exact same energy. They're not like two different coins, but rather the same coins on different sides when you flip it, just like heads and tails on a coin, right? Let me explain what I mean by that. Now, I'm sure all of you had heard about in the manifestation realm, like everything is energy, and that's true. So this isn't some like motivational bullshit I'm telling you right now. It's not like wishful thinking. This is the metaphysical operating system that determines directly whether you manifest what you desire or what you fear of. Now, by most people, I mean the 98% of us are stuck in that's what we're stuck in. We're stuck in a fear-based reality loop because unfortunately, my bringing up, the way I was brought up, is not uncommon in the world. Rather, it's actually the most of us. You have not been manifesting what you want, but you have been manifesting what you're afraid of. And the worst part about that is you don't even realize you're doing it. So let me break down exactly how this works and give you the practical step that you can use yourself to flip from fear to faith. Because the truth of the matter is, until you make this shift, you will just keep creating the exact same reality that you're trying to avoid. Now, when you direct your energy into this side, which is fear, that is nothing more than having faith in the wrong outcome. It's taking the same manifestation energy and pointing it at what you don't want. Fear is nothing more than having faith in negativity. I repeat, fear is nothing more than having faith in negativity. Because the truth of the matter is, you're not the victim of your fate. Rather, you're the victim of your faith. Whatever you have conviction in, whether it's good or bad, it's what's going to materialize in your reality. So when I was not having enough, right? Working the job I fucking hated, I was constantly afraid of not having enough money. And guess what? I never had enough money. The universe is just a reflection and matching my frequency that I'm outputting to it. When you direct your energy into faith instead of fear, everything changes. Because fear isn't religious, nor is it a blind belief, let's just say. Faith is conviction. Knowing something is true before you see physical evidence. It's this frequency that allows manifestation to work. It's the backbone, it's the foundation. It's, when you build a building, the base is conviction. If you need to see physical evidence in order for you to believe in yourself, you will never manifest what you want. Unfortunately, that's a paradox that most people can't seem to get a hold of, including myself in the past. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 specific ways to transmute from fear to faith. But before we do that, first, you need to first understand why most manifestation techniques fail and most people just can't seem to get a hold of it. The problem isn't that manifestation itself doesn't work. The problem is that most people are trying to manifest from the energy of fear, which is like, think about it this way, trying to grow flowers by planting weed seeds Does that make any sense? It doesn't to me. Now, let me show you how to shift your frequency and actually create the reality you want instead of the one that you're afraid of. Number one, fear is always about the future, not the present. So I'm gonna draw a timeline, past, present, future. This reminds me of like when I was a kid, I had to learn like past tense, future tense, present tense. So right now you're right here, right? Like this is you. And I know it's not good drawing, but this is you. And then right now you're at the present. When you fear of something, you're projecting yourself into the future that doesn't even exist yet. You're living in an imaginary timeline that you're simultaneously creating with your focus. Now, time out. Actually take a second to think about what I just said and think about this deeply. Have you ever been afraid of happening right now in this exact moment? Nah, I doubt it. You're afraid of what might happen. That's it. You're afraid of what might happen. You're either afraid of losing something that you already own or afraid of you not being able to get something that you want. But here's the thing. This right here, the future, ready for this? The future only exists in your mind. Simple. And whatever exists in your mind becomes your frequency. And your frequency becomes a reality one-to-one. Now this word right here is so important and I want to dig deep about this, right? Because where does this even originate from? Where does our fear even originate from? Where does it even fucking come from? The truth of the matter is a lot of you, just like me, grew up with like some sort of emotional trauma, whether you realize it or not. And yeah, you're thinking to yourself like, that's not my fault. That's not my fucking fault the way I grew up. And you're absolutely right, it's not. But here's the thing, man. It is, however, your responsibility to fix it. All right, we're moving on to number 2 now. Your subconscious mind can tell the difference between fear and preparation. Now I'm gonna draw a brain here. This is your brain. I know it's not the best drawing, but let's just say, just label it so you're not confused. This is your brain. When your brain goes, I'm gonna prepare for the worst, your subconscious actually interpret it as, please create the worst. Now your subconscious mind, there's one fun fact about it. It doesn't understand, I hope this doesn't happen. Your subconscious mind only registers the image that you're focusing on, whether it's good or bad, negative or positive. Now, as Neville Goddard said in his book, to be consciously being with the opposite expression of your desire is a violation of law of being. In simpler terms, when you focus on what you don't want, you're violating the very laws that governs manifestations, which is like universal law, basically. Maybe we can take a look at this in a scientific angle too, if that kind of, help enhance you to understand. When you're in a state of like fear, your brain releases a lot of cortisol and adrenaline, which literally changes how you perceive reality. You start filtering for evidence that confirms your fears. Because in the manifestation realm, you don't see with your eyes, but you rather see with your mind. Whatever your mind is calibrated to see is what's gonna pop up in your reality. Now, I'll give you a personal example that maybe like help you understand more. So personally, like in the past, I used to like worry about like my clients leaving or project failing like in my own business. I used to like label it as being realistic or preparing for contingencies. But after learning all this knowledge, I come to a realization that all I was doing was programming my subconscious to create exactly what I was free of. This saying is what changes everything for me, so lock in. Frequency first, action after. Faith isn't the absence of fear, it is a transmutation of it. So from going from fear to faith, you're not going somewhere else. You're just transmuting your fear into faith. Most people think that they need to eliminate fear to have faith. Sorry to break it to you, but that is just not necessary at all. Fear is just if you were paying attention, energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. Energy can only be transformed. One of the esoterics I love, I think it was from Neville Goddard in his book, he said, to be resurrected, you must first be crucified. Your fears are the crucifixion. Your faith is the resurrection. You cannot have one without the other, you know what I'm saying? So Reeves, like what's the secret, man? You've been talking for quite a while now. Well, the secret is take this exact same energy of fear, putting so much energy towards to, and redirect it into faith. You need to do it with the same intensity, but with a different direction. Now, personally, when I was stuck at my business revenue cap for like months, what I did is that I didn't just try to not be afraid of things. I redirected that energy towards fear into absolute conviction that my business would fucking succeed. Look at the most successful people in the world, or in history, or even in current reality. They weren't like fearless people. Now, here's how you can actually make a change in your daily life. The first practical step of making a change in your daily life, you need to first recognize your fear. Because once you recognize your fear, you're going to realize what exactly that you're manifesting in your life at this current moment right now. Because whatever you're afraid of is exactly what you're going to be creating in your own life. Now, there's a saying that really had a light bulb moment for me, and I want to share it with you right now. To try to force an external circumstances is as silly as trying to smash in the mirror to appear different. Because reality is nothing more than a reflection. It's a mirror, right? In order to change what shows up in the mirror, change how you show up to the mirror, not trying to change the mirror itself. So here's an uncommon thing that I want to say, right? Instead of trying to suppress your fears, use fear as a compass. You can use your fear as a compass. Yeah, sounds crazy, right? But how? Well, whenever you feel fear, please ask yourself this question or something along these lines. What am I creating right now in my life that I don't fucking want? I got hot, so I had to take off the jacket. I'm dying in here, man. There's a second step right now. This is a crucial step, and I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is the step where you can flip the script. For every fear you identify that in your life, whatever it is, whether it's not having enough money, relationships, business, whatever, clients, we all have a lot of problems in our life, right? Whatever that you are afraid of, create the opposite side of it. So, like I said, right, they're the same thing, just directing. It's the same energy, just different in vibration. So what's a very common example? Let's just say like me, right? For example, like I'm always camera shy and stuff. So I'm afraid I would suck at this business presentation. I'm sure this is something that you will need to do in your business, because essentially as entrepreneurs, you always have to present yourself, you have to sell yourself, right? But a lot of us have this self-sabotage before we even start to present, and then we go like, I'm afraid I'm gonna fuck it up. What if I fucked up and the clients don't fucking know? Fuck that. That's not you. That's nothing more than a fear which is having faith in negativity, which is not real. What you need to do is immediately find the opposite thought of it, which is, I'm the best presenter there is. You are the best presenter there fucking is. What's another common one for us entrepreneurs? Let's think. Business don't do well. This is something that I've been hearing in the last few years a lot. So what's the polarity of that? What's like the flip side coin of that? Well, to make it simple, business booming all the time, right? This is another very common fear that as entrepreneurs are gonna get. Or something that's more simple, right? Something that's more like general, like let's say, I'm afraid I'm not gonna have enough money. Then your declaration becomes, money flows to me easily and abundantly with multiple resources. And remember, you have to have that absolute faith, absolute conviction before you see it in reality. Because the truth of the matter is, whatever you claim, it's already there. It is until you say it's not. It is until you say you're not. So stop contradicting yourself. Once you make the claim, stay convicted in it. The way you feel the polarity of these, like I'm the best presenter, business booming all the time, you have to feel as the same intensity as your fear, but just redirecting that energy into faith. So what you need to do is, please, this is crucial, match the intensity of energy that you have in fear into the faith. Now, the third step is what I call the faith immersion. And funny enough, this is the part where most people fail. They might have done step 1 and step 2, and I'm sure you might have heard somewhere else, but this is the most really important step, guys. Because most people try to manifest in isolation, and it doesn't work like that. You cannot manifest in isolation. And I will explain what I mean. When you're with yourself, right? Like this is you again, and you're faithful right now. Let's just say you're faithful right now. But you're surrounding yourself with news. Most news are negative, as we all know. You're surrounding yourself with people, complaints, especially people who's always like, oh, I'm broke. I don't have money for this. I don't have money for that. You need to surround yourself with whatever is aligned with your faith, not whatever you fear of. So change what you consume on a daily basis, change who you talk to on a daily basis, what are you reading on a daily basis, and what are you watching on your phone, even when you're just scrolling dumb videos. Because you have to step into the world as if it's already done. Because like I said earlier, creation is finished. The version of reality where you have everything you ever wanted already exists somewhere out there in the quantum field, in the parallel universe. You're just aligning yourself with it in order to attract those event circumstances to make it come true. I'll give you another example. When I was trying to build my business, I stopped watching the news completely. I used to be a enthusiastic person towards news and think that I'm ahead of the game because I watch the news every morning. But I just fuck it. I just stopped watching the news because it's so fucking negative. I stopped hanging out with people who always complain about money or always say that there's so many bills to pay, that they're broke, yada, yada, yada. I immerse myself in the frequency of success. So like, for example, I'll be watching things that I can afford when I'm making X amount of money, or, reading positive things, until it became more real to me than my fears. Faith immersion is so important right here. Because right now I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this today so you can transform your reality right fucking now. Because for the truth of the matter is, for the longest time I thought that bad things just happened to me. Like I was just some unlucky dude that always has shit stuff that happens to me. And guess what? That belief alone kept proving itself to be true. I might run into different situations, but the outcome is always the same. It always seems like I'm a step or two behind reality, and I can never kind of outsmart or outrun it, or at least be alignment with it. So what I just described right there is what I call the fear loop. This is the fear loop that has been running your life. You fear something, you focus on it, you manifest it, you manifest what you fear of because you focus so much on it, and then you go, see, I knew it. I knew this was gonna fucking happen. And then the cycle just continues run itself on autopilot. Because unfortunately, a lot of times our brain would rather to be right rather than actually know the truth. It is also just as easy to get into the faith loop and break this fear loop completely, because this isn't helping you at all. However, breaking this loop requires something that might sound counterintuitive right now, but please hear me out. You need to become, what's the word of the day? You need to become delusional. Now, for the context of for you understanding what I mean, I call it delusional, but usually I don't call it delusional because delusional implies that it's fake. You're just fucking imagining it and it's not real. But your imagination is actually your reality. So I actually call it knowing it. I actually call it knowing instead of delusional, at least in the realm of manifestation. Now, it's not just like, delusional, like I'm Bill Gates' son, or, I'm just gonna get a lottery tomorrow, right? Because let's be real here, we're entrepreneurs, we're practical people, right? So what you need is strategic delusion. If I were to explain it in a scientific way, science proves that what you think is actually what's holding you back. And by what you think, I mean, like, for the most of us, we try to be realistic. Your brain is not looking for the truth. It's looking for proof of what you already believe, because there's no truth in reality other than what your subconscious mind believes as truth. For example, if you think success is hard, your brain will literally just filter reality and confirm your belief. But here's the thing, it can go against you, but it can also go for you, because study also shows that belief alone can change your physical reality. This is why the placebo effect works, because the brain turns expectation into experience. So with that being said, if your brain is gonna shape your reality anyway, why not set insane delusional goals that can actually work in your favor? Let me give you a personal example. When I first started my coaching business, I had this fear, and I started to self-sabotage because of the fear. I was terrified to put myself out there because, come on, it's the internet, right? I was afraid people would judge me. So what did I do? Instead of having this old version of Reeves, I created a new identity. This is the new version of me. I didn't just try to overcome my fear. I became someone who wasn't afraid, because your identity has a direct correlation with your mindset. Because the truth of the matter is, it's not about the action you take, it's about who is the identity behind that action. You can take all the right action with the wrong identity and you still fucking fail. Or you can take so-called mediocre tactics or strategy actions with the right identity and still have massive success. I mean, I don't need to prove this to you. You can just kind of see in the world. There are people out there that we just look at them and go they don't seem to know shit, but they're fucking successful. Because their self-identity, their self-concept is so strong. It literally trumps any reality conditions. So when I wake up in the morning, when I started to do this self-concept change, I recorded myself saying, I'm Reeves, I'm all there is. I'm love, I'm perfection. I'm always chosen, I'm everyone's top priority. No one's better than me, no one compares to me. If that sounds familiar, because it's actually from the power of I am, and he taught me these. My business booming all the time, no matter what. Clients just love working with me. I am the best businessman there is. I always have more than enough. Everything is just unfolding perfectly. Everything is working in my favor. And I play this on a loop, right? When doubt creeps in, I play it. When my mind started to contradicting with my goals, I played it. Eventually, my subconscious has no choice but to accept that as truth. This isn't just positive thinking for your brain. This is reprogramming your entire operating system. Now, this is actually where most people get stuck, so I want you to pay attention. They try to manifest with their current identity. But your current identity, which is, I want to label it as old identity because, obviously that's not the identity you want. Your current identity or your old identity is built on fear. You cannot manifest abundance in a scarcity identity, so you need to change your identity and literally crucified your old identity to be resurrected. So if this is your old identity and this is your new identity, I'm gonna draw a small and beg to emphasize this is the higher you, this is the lower you, better understanding. You have to become the version of yourself who already has what you want, but not just think like that. You have to become them. You have to become it. Because manifestation, it's not about changing yourself. It's about a way of returning to self. The version of you that has everything you want is your true self. Fear has just disconnected you from that truth. This is why affirmations fail for most people. They're saying words that contradict with who they believe themselves to be. There's no conviction behind it. Now this part is really important because I don't care what technique you're using. Conviction over affirmation. Faith requires conviction. And conviction comes from what? Does it come from your techniques? Does it come from your visualization? No, it doesn't. It comes from, if you were paying attention, your conviction comes from your self-identity, not from any techniques. Now let me give you the exact process where I transmute from fear to faith. Step 1, identify your dominant fears. And I want you to do it in a serious manner, not just watch this video and whatever. Actually take a pen or paper out or type it in your computer. I'll suggest writing it because your brain seems to register better that way. Identify your dominant fears. So find 3 to 5 fears that you're afraid of the most, right? Whether it's about money, job, relationship, whatever it is for you. Be brutally honest and just write them down. What are you afraid that might happen to you? Is it that you can't make ends meet in your business? Is it that you're afraid of your competition gonna steal your clients? Or somebody's gonna steal your companion in your life? Whatever it is, identify them crystal clear. You have to be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with me, but you have to be honest with yourself. Step 2, for each fear that you have Now identify, ask yourself this question right here. Who would I be if I wasn't afraid of this? Don't just think about like what you would do differently now. Think about who would you be. I'll give you an example. When unexpected bills came up to me, like whether it's a parking ticket or, some bills I forgot that even existed, I used to be like, this is fucking bullshit, man. I literally just had to pay this bill like yesterday or a few days ago, and now another fucking bill? Are you kidding me? Well, why would most of us, like you and me, would react like that? Because we believe the money is gone and we won't get it back. We're afraid of it's not coming back to us. Well, if you believe that, then you're right. That's exactly what's going to happen, and you're going to be in that fear loop again I mentioned earlier. However, if you tweak your mind and perceive it as, thank God I had money to pay this bill. Money is forever circulating. Because according to like law of circulation, you can't take a breath before you give one. I mean, if you heard it somewhere, I know where you heard it from. So give and receive are the same energy. Give and receive are the same energy. The only difference between them is the rate of vibration. And the rate of vibration is determined by your focus or concentration. So whatever you're concentrating on is that side of rate of vibration, right? So it's the same thing. Give and receive is the same vibration, just like fear and faith. So if you're so reluctant to give, people are also just going to be reluctant to give you anything. So it becomes difficult for you to receive anything. Step 3, create an identity statement that embodies this fearless version of yourself. Now you can record it in your own voice. This is not the only method that works, but I find this work wonders for me, so I'm just sharing it out here. Of course, it also worked well for my friends and my clients, so it seems like it's been proven to work in my reality, so I'm sharing it in this video. I would like to emphasize on one thing though. Whatever manifestation method that you're using, whether it's affirmations, mirror work, affirmations, visualizations, or recording it in your own voice like I do, please remember one word, and this word is super important. Whatever technique you do, the backbone, the nitty-gritty part is your emotion. And with enough emotion, you generate a high level of conviction, right? I mean, actually think about this for a second. When you're so sure that something bad is going to happen to you, what are you feeling? Anxious, worried, stressed out, depressed? Well, what are the opposite side or the polarity side of emotions of that? What is the flip coin side of emotion of those I just mentioned? You have joy, peace, and this is my favorite one, gratitude, because when you show gratitude, it indicates to the universe it's already done. That's why you're even grateful, right? And another one that I like a lot too is fulfillment. If you're able to hold this emotion as your dominant emotion throughout the day, and eventually they become your base level emotion when you're not thinking of anything, then it's already done. All you need to do is maintain that throughout your day as much as you can. Step 4, and I want you guys to actually do this test for yourself. Immerse yourself into this identity for at least 30 days. Listen to your own recording. Whatever method you do, the timing is also important. So do it when you wake up and before you go to bed. Because these are the times where your subconscious mind is the most receptive, the truth of the matter is. Because your brain is oscillating between theta and alpha state during these times, right when you wake up and right before you go to bed. Which is the optimal time to bypass your conscious mind and go right to your subconscious mind and reprogram them. Now the key here of manifestation, it's not about like having intense emotion and feeling high all day. It's not about that. It's about doing it consistently. It's about doing it consistently with consistency. Your subconscious mind requires repetition to, reprogram. While it is true that the only language of your subconscious mind is in fact emotion, rinses and repeat is very important. Because how else are you going to be able to sustain that emotion throughout the day and align yourself with your desired reality if you just keep hopping on and off? It's not about meditating for like hours today and then not do it for 4 days. It's about sticking to it on a daily basis. Personally, I've seen people who completely transform their reality using this method within like 30 days. Not because they have manifested something external, but because they have become someone who naturally attract what they want. I want to go back to what I said in the beginning, fear versus faith, so it comes to a whole nice cycle. Remember, like I said in the beginning, fear and faith, they're the same energy. The only difference is how you focus on it, which is the rate of vibration. Because you can alter the rate of vibration by altering the concentration. It's easy to remember because vibration and concentration rhymes, right? So instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you want. I kind of just figured this out like in the past few years. Heaven is not a locality. Heaven is a state of consciousness. When you shift from fear to faith, you're not trying to go somewhere else. You're changing your state of being right here, right now, in this exact moment, not somewhere else. Because the truth of the matter is, you're manifesting 24/7, whether you realize it or not. The question shouldn't be, how do I manifest? The question should be, what am I manifesting right now? And if you don't like the answer, you now have the tools to change it. The world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you according to who you are. So who are you choosing to be from this moment on? To sum up this video, there's another important point I want to raise, which I know some of you might be thinking, Reeves, this sounds delusional. You don't get it, bro. My situation is different, man. I don't see any evidence. I'm gonna break it to you right now, and any manifestation teacher, coaches with some merits will say the same thing. You won't see evidence if you're trying to find it. Why? Because this shit is not logical, it's magical. All this stuff we just talk about, and at this moment right now, we're training our right brain muscle. This is your right hemisphere of your brain, which are responsible for creativity, imagination, and spiritual side of ourselves. Your left brain is logic. Most of us have a well-developed left brain. We have crazy good logic, right? But we have an underdeveloped right brain. And all this shit that we just talk about in this video, the methods, whatever in this video, manifestation, is right brain exercise. You need to train that muscle. It's like going to the gym. Are you gonna see results after 1 week of hard training to the gym? Probably not. Are you gonna say gym is bullshit because of after training 1 week, you don't see your bicep growing like 5 inches? It's literally the same thing. You will need consistent training. Not lifting heavy for like 1 day, which is in analogy of the manifestation, would be like you meditating and feeling good for 1 day and then take the whole week off. That won't get you anywhere. Oh, by the way, here's another great point I need to make that 98% of people fallen into. Just because you accidentally skipped it a day, doesn't mean you go, oh my God, I missed the work that I should have done. Oh, all the work I did is now previously gone. And then you just start self-sabotaging, start like telling yourself, fuck, I fucked up. Stop that, don't do that. All the work you did is still there. Just like muscle memory, right? Just pick up from where you left off and don't overthink it. Trust me, it's easy to fall into that thinking pattern. I've seen it so many times with my friends and clients and even myself. And then we fall into this rabbit hole of like analysis paralysis. But always remember, whenever that happens, that's nothing more than your old identity trying to pull you back because you have been with it all your life. Do not give in no matter what when you're in that situation. That's one of the most common mistakes I've seen, and including myself, I've done it many times. Well, let me address the delusional term. Think about it this way, right? When you sit there and worry about something that hasn't happened yet that might happen in the future, that's also delusional. Why don't you call that delusional? Because it hasn't happened yet. The problem is most people are programmed to let negative thoughts dominate rather than the opposite side of things, opposite side of the coin, which is positivity and having faith and all that. So for the context of you understanding this, I'm going to continue using the word delusion, even though I don't personally really use that word. I'll try not to my best ability. There's negative delusion. Let's break it down into two parts. There's negative delusion and positive delusion. If you're going to be delusional either way, which is assuming something in the future that hasn't happened yet, why not be in this side of things, this end of things, the positive delusion that works in your favor? Because it's either or. Here's something that like most people don't talk about in the manifestation realm, right? The universe doesn't care if you're a good person or not, unfortunately. It only responds to your frequency. Now, I'm not telling you to become an asshole and say, okay, fuck all morals. But you still need to understand the concept. Frequency is the only thing that universe responds to, not your morality. But please be a moral person. I'm not telling you to go fuck shit up and then come back and blame me because I try my best to maintain my morality. But two things can be true at the same time, right? You can be moral while have a higher frequency, not like to become a bad person. Now, I know this might trigger some like cognitive dissonance, but the universe doesn't operate on human fairness or what we so-call like morality. It's a neutral system that reflects back whatever frequency you emitted to it. This is why sometimes you see bad people freaking thrive while good people like just stuck in a hole. It's not about being good or bad though. That's not the thing I want you to focus on. It's about your self-concept, self-identity, and the frequency you're emitting to the universe. Bad people, in the most common sense, in the most common way, they tend to have really good self-concept. They believe they can get whatever the fuck they want. They believe they deserve it. They're unapologetic about having desires. Meanwhile, good people often have terrible self-concepts. They doubt themselves, they self-sabotage, they limit their own potential based on what others think of them. Self-concept is more important than any circumstances, and it's above your circumstances. So what's the good news for us? If you want to identify as a good person, a good people, or you want to maintain morality, you can change your self-concept at any moment of time, including right now. You don't need permission from fucking anyone. You don't need to wait. You just need to decide. You can be a good person with good self-concept. Two things can be true at the same time. Now, before I go, I want to give you this final thought. So let's say this is your muscle, right? This is your biceps. Let's say this is your muscle, right? Let's just pretend this is a piece of muscle. Just like this piece of physical muscle, your faith muscle grows when you put it under resistance. Your fear are the resistant training for your faith. So the next time you feel afraid, don't run from it. You cannot outrun it. Don't suppress it either, like you have been doing. Transmute it. Take that same intense energy and redirect it to the things you want to create. Now, this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist in your life. It's about choosing which reality you want to create yourself. It's about this one line right here. How would this version of me respond if, and by that I mean, let's say you envision yourself to be, someone who is very successful, and then you get a $100 parking ticket, but you're making like $50K a month. How would you respond to that? Would you be like, fuck? Or would you be like, okay, thank God I have money. I'm abundant. $100 bill is nothing to me. You can never outrun your frequency because your frequency is you. Just like how you cannot outrun your shadow, but you can change the shape of your shadow. And when you change your frequency from fear to faith, you change everything. So, who are you consciously choosing to be from this moment on?